Alright, so here we have our last test that we took, and I'm going to be going over some test corrections since everybody that didn't get a 100 will have to go through, and so hopefully I can touch on some points that will be helpful. I'm going to try and talk to this as if you were coming into tutoring, and so it can be the most helpful. The first question says, Frances wants to buy a leather jacket that costs $200 after adding the tax. She has $50 in her savings account and earns $7 per hour babysitting. Which equation below would she use to determine how many hours, H, she must babysit before she can buy the jacket? So, throughout this test, I'm going to be circling constants and boxing variables and trying to underline any key terms. So this here, it costs $200, and she has $50 being a constant as well in her savings account, and she earns $7 per hour, and she's earning it, so earning equals a positive, and the other ones are also positive, so we have 200 equals $50 plus 7 per hour. So here we see our answer, choice B. Alright, the table below shows how the service rates for two computer repair companies. So we have TechRite and Best Bite. So $75 service charge plus $50 an hour. $25 service charge plus $70 an hour. So which equation could you solve to find the number of hours at which TechRite would be less expensive than Best Bite? So we have TechRite has to be less than Best Bite. So if we look at our two equations, TechRite would be 75 as our constant plus $50 as our hour, as our variable, and it has to be less than 25 plus 70 per hour. So as we can see here, that is going to be C. So this one here, both of these have variables with them, so we already know those can't be correct. Okay, which shows the number that subset, which the number 144, negative square root of 144. So once again, not all square roots are irrational. So if we remember our Venn diagram, we know that there are 5 categories and they're all under, I tried to use an umbrella analogy. So these are the real numbers, and that has the 5 categories in them. So negative square root of 144, that is going to be that equals to negative 12. So knowing that it's negative 12, we know that it can't be a rational number, because rational numbers can't be negative. We know that it can't be a whole number. It can't be a natural wait, I made a mistake. Sorry. It can be rational. Rational numbers can be negative, sorry. Whole numbers and natural numbers, and those ones can't be negative. So we know we're down to A and B, but the square root of 144 is not an irrational number, so we're left with it being an integer, rational, and a real number. So the real number, those are all of the subsets. So 2 8th grade classes are selling raffle tickets, one to raise money. One class is selling a ticket, selling tickets for $250 each, and has already raised $350. So I'm going to pause and say $250. I see the word each, so that is going to be a variable, and they've already raised $350. The other class is selling tickets for $3 each, and has already raised $225. So I see all positive values. So I'm going to say 2.50, and there's my variable, plus 350. And then I need to read my question. Which equation can be used to find T, the number of tickets each class needs to sell for the total, so that the total amount raised is the same for both classes? So we know this same equals that. So 2.5t plus 350 equals 3t plus 225. And so we can see this one can't be right. And this one here, they mixed up the numbers. This should be over on this side, and this should be with this one. So we're left with that answer. Okay, which equation represents the following situation? There are 2 limousine companies that charge based on the number of people that they can carry. Limo A charges $30 plus $4 per person. Limo B charges $70 plus $2 per person. So charges $30 plus $4 per person. Limo B charges $70 plus $2 per person. So we have our constants are 30 and 70, and our variables are 4 and 2. So just seeing that, we know that 4 and 2 have to have variables. There's no 4 and 2 with variables here, and so we can already eliminate that one. And we know that the 30 has to go with the 4, and the 70 has to go with the 2. So there, this is the only one, because these ones would have to be switched in order for that one to be correct. Alright, Carnival M charges an entrance fee of $5 and 65 cents per ticket for the rides. Carnival P charges an entrance fee of $10 plus 45 cents per ticket for the rides. How many tickets must be purchased for the total cost at Carnival M and Carnival P to be the same? So I know for them to be the same, I'm going to be setting them equal to each other. So going back, we have a $5 constant and a 65 cents per ticket, and Carnival P charges, we have a $10 constant and a 45 per ticket. So this charges, again, charges doesn't always mean doesn't always mean negative. So in this case, how many tickets must be purchased for the total cost to be the same? So we're talking about the money that's going to the carnival. So we have $5 plus 0.65 x equals $10 plus 0.45 x. So now we can solve this by subtracting our least coefficient from both sides. And we'll be left with 5 plus 0.2 equals 10, because this will have zeroed out. And then we're going to move our constant to both sides. This will become 0. We'll have 0.2 equals 5. Sorry, my x. Sorry, I'll carry my x down. Divide by 0.2, divide by 0.2. And then we will have x equals our answer. Sorry, move this out of the way. Which of the following is an irrational number? So an irrational number cannot be expressed as a fraction. So we already know this one can't be right. And the square root of 225, this equals 15. 15 is not irrational. And then, so now we're down to C and D. So the square root of 17 equals a really long decimal, 4.123, and then it keeps going. So this decimal right here, this equals a terminating decimal. So terminating decimals are not irrational. This would equal a rational number. So we're left with this square root because this decimal is not patterned So going to our next page, which the point is best represented with the square root of 92. So I would look at my calculator, square root of 92. The square root of 92 equals 9.59, keeps going. So here's 9 and here's 10. So this here, right here, is 9.5. So I know it has to be past that. So I can automatically eliminate point n. And this one, there's only one point that it could be. There we go. The table below shows the length of 4 of the top 10 largest road tunnels in the world. I'm going to make one more note about this. This was tricky because of the scale. So you have to check the numbers. Like this is 8.5 and 9 rather than 8, 9, 10. So always check. Okay, so here we go. Largest tunnels in the world, and we're going from least to greatest. Mr. Campbell, thank you for making this large for us to see. So we're going to look up here and find our least number. So the least is the furthest from 0. that's a mistake. With negative numbers, it's the furthest from 0. But in this case, that was wrong. I said that incorrectly. Least is for positive numbers, it's the closest to 0. For negative numbers, it's the furthest from 0. So take what I just said. Least is for positive numbers is the closest to 0. Least in negative numbers is the furthest from 0. Okay, so we're going to look for the one, these are all positive numbers, so we're going to look for the one that's closest to 0. And our first one would be here. So we can already eliminate these two. So we're down. So 11.1, that looks right, 11.1, 11.1. So now we have, which one's bigger? 11.39 is less than 11.6. So we know that is wrong. That is wrong, so we're going to be left with D. So what value makes x true? Go ahead and solve. So we have our terms. So our constants are in yellow, and our variables are in green. We have no like terms, so we're going to move our least coefficient, which would be negative 2x, and we're going to add 2x to both sides. This will zero out. We'll be left with 6x minus 5 equals 13. And then we're going to move the constant that's on the same side as the variable, and then be left with 6x equals 18. And our last step will be to divide, and x will equal our final answer there. Alright, so now we're looking for, Kyle recorded the lowest daily temperatures for each 5 days in a week. So we're looking, which shows the days in order from coldest to warmest. So we're going least to greatest. So as I said, when you're looking at negative numbers, it's the ones furthest from 0, and positive numbers are closest to 0. So right now we have some negative numbers right here, negative. So we're looking for the furthest away from 0, and our biggest number, our furthest one away from 0 is going to be right here. So we know Monday has to be our furthest, so we can already eliminate those two. And then this is going to be 2. So Thursdays are next. So we have this one and this one, but Wednesday, we know that one's not right, so we're only left with there. Okay, all right, we did a warm-up when we turned percents. Always divide by 100. So 37.5% divided by 100 would be 0.375. So we could turn this to 0.375. 0.4 would be 0.4. This would be 0.3 and 3/5. Be 0.6. So 0.3 is our smallest, so we can already eliminate those. We have here and here, and then here and here, and then which is small, least to greatest. We have to decide whether 3/5, but 0.375 is, so 0.375 is less than 0.6. So there we go. Mateo started with 20 pieces of gum and gave away 6x pieces. Josh started with 35 pieces of gum and gave away twice as many pieces as Mateo did. How many pieces of gum did Mateo give away if they had the same number of pieces of gum left? So we have, he started with 20 pieces of gum and gave away x pieces. So he gave away. So gave away equals a negative. Josh started with 35 and gave away twice as many pieces he gave away. So now we have 20, and then he gave away X pieces of gum, and we're looking for the same number, so we have equals 35 minus twice as many. So if Mateo gave away X pieces, twice as many equals 2x minus 2x. So now, go ahead and solve this. We're going to find our least coefficient. So we have 20 plus x equals 35. This will zero out. Move our constant that's on the same side as the variable. And then this will zero out, and we'll be left with x equals 35 minus 20. And here will be our answer. And we could have also tried substitution to see, so it would be 15, and then to try and substitute it in, it would be 20 minus 15 equals 35 minus 2 times 15. So as we do this, 20 minus 15, that will be 5 equals 2 times 15 would be 35 minus 30. So we have 5 equals 5. And so we know that this would be our right answer. And then we can be confident that they would, after 15 pieces of gum, they would have the same number left. All right, thanks for watching.